Hello everyone, Stephanie here, your Youth and Community Librarian, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Teen Book Chat. I hope everybody's been staying cool during this heat wave, but I thought during this heat wave it'd be cool to talk about some Western YA books. Now, you might be thinking, Westerns? I don't like Westerns. It's all about cowboys and old times and it's so boring. Well, you might be surprised to find out that Westerns actually have a lot of subgenres and some very interesting tropes about the genre, and you'll be surprised that some of these books I'm going to be talking about are classified as Westerns. Some of these tropes in Westerns include expansive worlds, solo protagonist who is fighting for justice, and amongst other things. And so we're going to start with some traditional Westerns and kind of move through the subgenres of Westerns, and maybe you'll find a Western that you like, because I sure did when I was doing my research for this. So as always, comment down below if you have any questions or if you want more recommendations, and I'll try to get to as we go on. So we are going to start, like I said, with some more classic Westerns, so that they are going to be a little bit more, they are set in the old time West, with cowboys or something like that. But you still might be interested. They're all by YA authors, so you'll be interested to see. So we're going to start off with a Canadian author, and this is You Don't Have to Die in the End by Anita Dar. Eugenia Grimm is a tough girl living in a tough town at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. After a last-straw violent incident, she is sentenced to a time at an intensive support and supervision program located at the remote mountain ranch in British Columbia. There she begins to make connections, explore difficult truths, and might even turn things around. That is, until a series of events pull her into a dark spiral she may not have the strength to resist. This gritty contemporary YA is filled with characters who step off the page right into your heart. If you enjoyed the Heartland TV series or book series, you will definitely want to check this book out. And if you're a big fan of coming-of-age novels, again, this one is a good one to pick up because there's a lot of angst and a lot of heart in this book. And it's brand new. So come down to the library and pick that up. So I guess that wasn't set in the old-timey West, but still has some very Western elements to it, with the setting being at a ranch, and the protagonist is kind of like her against the world. Typical Western trope, but now we're going to get into some old-timey classic Western YA books, and that we're going to start with Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. When Kate Thompson's father is killed by the notorious Rose Riders for a mysterious journal that reveals the secret location of a gold mine, the 18-year-old disguises herself as a boy and takes to the gritty plains looking for answers and justice. What she finds are devious strangers, dust storms, and a pair of brothers who refuse to quit riding in her shadow. But as Kate gets closer to the secrets about her family, she gets closer to the truth about herself and must decide if there's room for love in a heart so full of hate. In the spirit of old-fashioned Westerns, the cutthroat days of the Wild West come to life for a new generation. You'll be entranced by Bowman's swiftly paced romantic revenge drama, and historical fiction fans will relish the period clothing, Western dialect, and details of everyday life. With plot twists galore and a nice surprise at the end, it is a page-turner with an equally stellar sequel. So you can grab the book and its sequel at the library, and we also have e-audiobook copies available on RB Digital, which you can get for free with your library card on your phone. Really good, awesome, classic Western themes that is very for a modern audience. Alright, ooh, this one's really good. If you like Handmaid's Tale, this one's gonna be up your alley. We have The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. The first installment in a new dystopian series is perfect for fans of Leah Bardugo's Six of Crows and Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, told in alternating points of view between two sisters. The sisters were sold at a young age to a welcome house and were destined for a life of sex work. When Clementine accidentally kills her first client at the Green Creek brothel, her older sister Aster springs into action and alongside Clem's best friends transforms Clem's accident into a shot at freedom. Sympathetic Cold Violet begs to join them, promising to lead the way to a legendary woman who can remove their favors. On the journey to the Lady Ghost and evade their cruel pursuers, the girls must decide how far they'll go to escape their past. This dystopian set in a fantastical Wild West-style world filled with a diverse cast of strong female leads will appeal to many. Really awesome book Western that features women of color, which is so great, and it's also written by a woman of color. So it kind of flips its narrative on traditional Westerns that are usually male, white protagonists and authors. And also that's kind of dystopian-esque with a Handmaid's kind of tale spin on it. It's really, really good. And the sequel's coming out very soon. And you can pick up this book at the library or grab the audiobook copy on RV Digital and listen to that on your phone. Next up, I'm really excited for this one because it's a graphic novel, a Western graphic novel, and the art will just blow you away. It is amazing. And that is Stage Dreams by Melanie Gilman. The Ghost Hawk, otherwise known as Fleur, is a queer Latinx bandit with a bird of prey helpmate who yields a six-shooter and wears a leather hat atop her voluminous black mare. Fleur is a brash, very capable bandit, making a living robbing stagecoaches in New Mexico in 1861. And while her latest job doesn't lead to the sort of payout she wanted, she does find a valuable companion, Grace, a young transgender woman who is on the run from her home in Georgia, avoiding conscription into the Confederate Army. Though at first Fleur is merely anticipating a healthy ransom, she gradually comes to realize that Grace has the insider knowledge and sweet southern charm to get them into a party of Confederate officers where they can steal priceless information. On top of that, a romance blossoms, and they bond over their shared yet different manifestations of gender nonconformity. The illustrations are gently shaded in colored pencil, and the softness underscoring the sweetness of the characters and charming story. There is even a thoughtfully researched appendix that in the back of the book that provides ample historical context. So really, really cute LGBTQ Western graphic novel featuring a queer Latinx protagonist and a transgender co-protagonist. It's so cute, guys. You need to read it. Really flips the traditional Western narrative on its head in this amazing graphic novel. And if you want to pick that up, it's available at the library, and or you can place a hold on it on BiblioCommons. Alright, we're going to start dipping into some of those subgenres, starting with a little bit of fantastical elements, but still very true Western. And we're going to start with a very special preview of a September release. And that is The Nightland Express by J.M. Lee. Young, poor, and orphaned in rural Missouri, Jessamine Murphy frets over her very pregnant sister, and not all sure how to feed their family until the baby is born, let alone after. When Jessamine comes across a recruitment poster reading, Pony Express, special assignment, St. Joseph, Missouri to California, 2 riders wanted, orphans preferred, her tomboy heart skips a beat. Not only for the ample risk wage, but for the adventure and the chance to track down their wayward father in California. Jessamine cuts her hair, dons a pair of pants, and steps into the world as Jessie. At the Pony Express station, Jessie meets Ben Foley, a quiet but determined boy, so secretive about his origin story there is little doubt it must be turbulent. And they become partners. As they encounter mysterious portals that carry them miles in an eye blink and unusual creatures with uncanny glowing eyes, it becomes clear that this is no normal mission. A second magical realm exists just below the surface of the mortal one, intertwined since the beginning of time. But the divisive violence of colonization and war are tearing the two worlds apart. As Ben and Jessie struggle to find themselves, they discover their unlikely alliance may be the only thing that will save them, and the creatures and environment of two struggling worlds. Dun dun dun! I am so excited for this book. The concept sounds amazing. The classic Pony Express, but there's magic portals that they travel through for the Pony Express. I need this right now. It is releasing in September, so go on BiblioCommons and make sure you place a hold on it so you are the first one to grab this copy when it is published. It sounds so good. Okay, now a little bit more diving deeper into a little bit more into the fantasy realm. We are going to talk about Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. Arabian Night meets the Wild West in this thrilling debut novel. Amani can't wait to escape her small desert town. She knows she's meant for more, and she's counting on her sharpshooting skills to help her find a way out of Dustblock. When she meets her mysterious Jin, a charming foreigner who is wanted for treason, she decides he can be her escape. Amani ends up on an exciting journey where mythical beasts rise, Dingy wield magical powers, and the Sultan's army is on the hunt. As whispers of a rebel prince start echoing through Mirage, Amani finds herself unexpectedly caught up in a revolution, but once with it, she discovers more about herself than she ever imagined. This atmospheric fantasy combines magic, mythology, and the Wild West to create a riveting tale. Amani is a strong heroine who is witty and willful. The supporting cast of characters is well drawn, and the exciting and romantic adventure is full of surprising twists that will leave you satisfied yet still eager to finish the rest of the trilogy. So you can grab this book and its trilogy mates at the library, and we also have them for audiobook on RB Digital, so you can listen to that on your phone. Really cool, interesting book. Set own voices book, which is really awesome. Kind of a, as I said, Arabian Tales meets Wild West fantasy. Sounds super cool. All right, okay. Ooh, this next one, if you are a fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender or the Percy Jackson series, you're gonna love this next one. I'm gonna be shocked that it's technically a Western. That is Walk on Earth a Stranger by Ray Carson. This riveting first installment of a trilogy features 15-year-old tomboy Leia, who has an extraordinary talent, the ability to sense when gold is near. She uses the skill to provide her ailing parents, who live in an isolated part of Dalgonia, the site of the first major U.S. gold rush in the early 1800s. They lead a fairly frugal existence so as not to arouse local suspicions. When her parents are robbed and murdered, and her only best friend, a half-white, half-Cherokee boy named Jefferson, leaves Georgia for a new gold rush in California. Her world is turned upside down. To make matters worse, a nefarious uncle comes to claim her parents' property and use her gold-seeking skills for ill intent. Disguised as a boy, she leaves the only home she's ever known to reunite with Jefferson and join a wagon train. Lee, as she calls herself, is a smart, feisty, and likable protagonist who encounters all the hardships one would expect on the arduous journey of the Wild West: illnesses, injury, hunger, exposure to extreme weather, and buffalo stampedes. All the while, she knows her uncle will stop at nothing to hunt her down. Dun dun dun! This book is also a trilogy, so there's 3 books in the series, and you can pick those up at the library. If you especially loved Hazel in the Percy Jackson series, the sequel series, you'll love Leia, or Lee, because she has a very similar talent of being able to procure gold out of the ground, which is super fun. Definitely want to check that one out. Alright friends, we have come to our last book already, and this one I think is going to shock you the most, that it is technically a Western. Now, did you know that the most famous space opera in history are based on Westerns? I mean Star Wars. Star Wars are based on Westerns, especially the new series The Mandalorian is totally a Western themed story. So guess what? We're ending with a Star Wars story. And this is Force Collector by Kevin Schnick. Shortly before the events of The Force Awakens, Force Collector revolves around Carr, a teenage boy living on a backwater planet. Carr lives a difficult life. Anytime he touches an item that he has witnessed, an important or traumatic event, he gets a searing headache and blacks out. While his parents search for a rational explanation for his episodes, Carr's grandmother knows the real reason for strange visions. He is gifted with the Force. Attempting to learn how to control his abilities, Carr struggles with his training and hopes to find someone who can teach him in the ways of the Force. Determined to learn more, Carr begins to collect historical items, which he hopes will allow him to have some vision of the Jedi and learn where to find them. However, the few Niegar artifacts he can lay his hands on are unable to provide him with the knowledge he seeks. When Carr's grandmother dies and his parents attempt to send him away to a school on the other side of the planet, he finally has had enough. Determined to find an actual Jedi to help him, Carr, his droid RZ-7, and his school's new troublemaker, Maze, steal a First Order ship belonging to Maze's father and set out on an adventure. However, the greatest secrets may lay even closer to home than he imagined. You can grab this you can grab the Star Wars book at the library. It is part of the canon, which is really, really cool. Set just before the Force Awakens movie, and it is a Western, a sci-fi Western. How cool is that? So if you love Star Wars, the Star Wars series, you will want to pick this up and learn all about Carr and his adventures. Alright friends, that's all I have for you tonight. Did I blow your mind that Westerns aren't all that typical old man, old-timey Western movie type books? I really hope so, because it blew my mind when I was doing this research for this book chat. There's so many cool books out there that are technically Westerns that you may not have known about, which is super awesome. Until next time, friends, we hope to see you very soon, but stay safe. Bye now.